Hello, and welcome back to the Graceful Rebuild podcast. We are your hosts, Maddie and Leena, and our mission here, as always, is not to change your mind, but to challenge you to walk in a wholesome and more graceful identity with Jesus.
Yes, always, 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 always. How you doing?
Good. Yeah,
Good.
we're making it.
Yes.
We're making it through wedding planning and everything else. So
Yes. It looks
we're
like
busy.
yes. Okay, so I believe in our last episode we ended with we are starting a new series. We are going to go through, is it five? I think it's the five
It's the
R's.
5 R's, but we're going to add one because she
Yes.
was really adamant about the 6th R that she's
Yes.
adding.
So we're going to go through we're going to say 6 R's of trauma. The sixth one being redeemed because there's such a beautiful side on the other side. But we are going to go through,
So there's realize, relate, regulate, reflect, and then reintegrate. And we're going to be studying those, going through those. We just thought it would be cool to kind of do some kind of series to help because trauma and all of it's a popular word, but I don't think people understand the ramifications of trauma
the
and
depths of it.
the depths of it.
Yeah.
Yes. How it affects psychologically, how it affects your daily life. What does life look like for somebody who's been through tremendous amount of trauma? Obviously, not to compare traumas, but there is different levels, different
Mhm.
degrees, I would say, of trauma. There
Yeah.
could be
You could
physical,
look that
sexual.
up
They're all different because and your body responds differently.
differently.
It's definitely
Mhm.
not a streamlined one size fits all.
Yeah. It's not if you had a certain amount of, if you had, I think we hear too much. Well, trauma is trauma.
Hmm.
I tend to hear that a little bit from people that don't understand, or I think they just want to not purposely, I just don't think they wanna get into the nitty-gritty details of
Hmm.
it to talk about the hard parts of it.
Yeah.
Well, trauma is trauma, and everybody can heal from it.
Yeah.
Let's break that down and what
Yeah.
that means.
Which is definitely one of the goals of our podcast here. We wanna be open, we wanna talk
Mhm.
about that. We wanna talk about even as this podcast grows, like, in years to come, we can look at this podcast and be like, "Oh my goodness, I was struggling with this. My body was reacting this way. I don't have that anymore."
Yes, that will be yes, yes.
Yes, that would be so cool to look back on. But
Yeah.
we wanna do this mostly just to be informational about,
Mhm.
the things that go on in our bodies that we've seen,
Others around us,
others
oh,
around
yeah.
us. Yeah. I know you have people related to you that even have, like, an OCD. They have
Mhm.
other kind of issues that are stemming from that trauma that people don't connect typically that that's where
Yeah.
it stems from. It'll be really interesting. I think you guys will be really interested to hear how a lot of even chronic illnesses have
Mhm. Oh,
have
yeah.
been caused by generational trauma or, trauma just in general.
And just gently reminding people that, again, I want to rephrase, when we're talking to everyday people and someone brings up trauma, don't shut it down, or
Mhm.
don't just, well, trauma's trauma, you'll just heal through it.
It's actually more damaging.
It is, and it's one of those things that I still have to, like, not be so defensive about and, like, "No, you're not hearing me," but going back to grace and the difference between, abusing grace, which we went through a whole episode about that, but
Yes.
just gently reminding to those who may not have experienced it, we're not asking you to, like, understand fully, we're just asking you,
Mhm.
sometimes stepping in one's shoes for just a minute goes a long, long way.
Yes.
I think that's what I've learned, because when I step in someone else's shoes, currently in our society, just everywhere, it really actually helps me feel empathy. It helps me feel
Mhm.
compassion. I don't push that person away when I actually ask, like, details of, like, what is going on? And then ask more questions and get into more details. Wow. You don't go, well, it's just trauma. You can heal from it, move on. You actually start to have compassion
Mhm.
and you love differently.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So the first R that we're gonna talk about today is, realizing.
Okay.
Realizing trauma. Well, the first step in when anybody goes through any sort of trauma, uh, like, I guess to give an example, both of us didn't know I was being abused because I went to public school for a little bit. I don't know about you, but did you realize that you were being
Mm,
abused
not
at
at all.
all?
I didn't go to public school.
Mm.
I was pulled out in 2nd grade, I think, and
Mhm.
was homeschooled all the way through, so I had no idea that what I was there was times where I was, like, comparing family to family. Well, that family doesn't do that.
That's exactly yeah, I did the
Okay,
same
but
thing.
there was never a it never dawned on me that I was actually being abused, that this I was always taught, my parents told me this is normal to do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of times,
Mhm.
we have seen a lot of childhood trauma or even other forms of trauma. The abuser will a lot of times classify their actions as normal, as good, as God's will, as
Biblical. Yep.
biblical, and they'll reframe it so that the victim thinks that it is and you believe it because you're
Mhm.
told it all the time, especially if you're in more of an isolated environment, like
Oh,
being
yeah.
homeschooled. Yeah.
Which later finding out the reason I was homeschooled was so that it didn't leak out to everybody.
I actually, in 8th grade
I was gonna say, my question is, how in the world did you go to public school without the abuse being leaked out?
yeah. So it was. We had, CPS at our door when I was in 2nd grade in Georgia. We had a case, my brother couldn't sit down on the bus, there was, bruises, they took pictures, there was court cases and all that jazz. The
What
case
year was
fell off.
what year was that?
That was ooh, god, 2012.
Okay.
Yeah.
Th
Yeah.
16 years oh, no. We're close to 16 years ago? Am I doing the math right? Oh
Oh, I
gosh.
don't even know math.
Yeah, because it's 2024 now,
Mhm.
which would make
Wait, it's
2017.
2026, sweetheart. Hey, the date does not matter. I was in 2nd grade. I was
That's
little.
funny.
I'm 20 I forgot my age.
You're
I'm
22.
22.
Actually, they say there's a funny saying I heard when I first got out of abuse is there's a saying, and I still say it to this day, abuse feels like one day. That's why my
Mm,
dates and days are all mixed up. It feels like one giant day in your head.
yep.
Because I got so pissed when they would sit there in court and hound you. Well, what day and what year did
What
it
and
happen?
what
And I'm over
time
here like,
were you wearing pink
dumbass,
socks? Red.
I don't know even what happened yesterday. Why would I can't tell you. It feels like a
Uh,
big day to me. I just thought that was funny because that's a very popular saying I hear.
yeah.
It's 6 people.
Yes. I had CPS at my door
Wow, that's
2nd grade in public school, 8th grade in public school. The 2nd time, my dad was smarter, realized the system or whatever. So CPS comes knocking to our door, right? And then I get in trouble. So he tells them, you can't come in without a search warrant. And so he sends them away. And while they're going off to get a search warrant for a couple days, he takes us to a different city. So the next time they come knocking
oh.
on the door, we're not there. So he has time to get a lawyer and that lawyer sits in on every single one of our meetings with us. And he took us into a room beforehand and was like, "Hey, you're gonna say this,
Oh, I was
you're gonna be like Rahab and the spies, you're gonna lie for the good of your dad, I guess."
oh, ew.
So I had to lie
Shit.
because I would reach breaking I don't know if you did this, but you'd reach breaking point of like, I cannot do this any longer. If I get hit one more time, if I get whatever one more time, I have to leave. There's gotta be something I can do.
I don't think for me, I don't think there was a breaking point. I was too scared that I didn't even wanna go
Yeah.
because I was so scared of what was gonna happen if I tried to leave. But also tune in the fact that my mother told me I was a Satan follower, worshiper of Satan
I
if
mean,
I
look
left
at
the
her.
home. So that I think stuck so hard in my head, I was too scared.
Yeah.
So, yeah, CPS actually came in, since then, which makes me really sad with CPS because I think they could do better. 2003 till I left, off and on throughout the years.
Mm.
It's crazy. But
Yeah,
I
you would
understand
think.
their in their defense, they see nothing wrong. And my parents were good about covering certain
Oh,
areas
yeah.
too. And my parents
Well,
also would
see,
eavesdrop on when they had a
I would report about abuse that was over the span of, like, months. So I'd be like, "Oh, he kicked me. He did this. He did this." Okay,
when
so
you told your
I told the school counselor all of this.
oh my gosh, I
She
would have
was
been
writing and writing and
petrified.
writing for I mean, I think I talked for, like, 30 straight minutes, and
Is
I
this
had
before you left? What year was this?
this was 8th grade. This was 4 years, 5 years before I left.
Okay.
And
Damn.
I reached a breaking point. Well, the breaking point came was my dad told me that I had to wear a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shirt.
Oh, yeah, I think
It
you
was a,
shared the
like,
story.
2XL, and he
Ew.
was like, "It's gonna be Humble Your Kids Day." And he said the next day
The
I was gonna
hell?
I mean, I was, like, 100 pounds soaking wet, and this shirt went, like, past my knees,
Hey.
and I went to public school and middle school. It's hard for everybody, don't get me wrong. It's especially hard when you have to wear
I didn't go to
Ninja
middle
Turtle
school, so
shirt.
I don't know what the struggles were during that time.
Yeah, you're not missing out. Middle school was awful.
Okay.
It was awful. Especially
Is that during
going
the
through
time
abuse.
is that also if you're in middle school, is that counting in puberty during that time too? Damn, so on top of that, you're go
Yeah, it's, like, between the ages of, like, 11 to 14.
okay, so ooh,
So right in that bad, icky spot.
puberty and abuse at the same time.
It was
Yeah.
so bad. It was so bad. But, yeah, I literally listed all these things off that he spaghetti bowls being put on my head and my hair, being spit on,
Oh
being
my
hit with
god.
a belt. I mean,
So
there
she's
was
taking this all into account. What is she doing after you're
to be honest, we lived in a small town, and I think her face was a little bit shocked because my not to go into the details, but my dad was employed at that certain school for a little bit, wound up getting, like, his job got, taken away. Yeah, that's a whole 'nother story. But the counselor, like, knew of my family, and so I'm like she's just sitting there writing, and I can, like, see in her face, she's just like, "Okay." Like,
mm,
just keeps writing, keeps I'm, like, burst into tears. Like, I haven't
oh,
cried in forever because you can't cry in front of them. And it was just this whole thing. I would hit these breaking points a
you
few
had more
times.
bravery than me.
I did because
I don't know
I
how you
thought
I would did you have fear though? Were you scared a
I
little
was
bit?
scared I was gonna piss myself. The only thing was, is that I kept telling my friends stuff that was happening in my home, and they kept
Oh,
hearing it, and they're like, "Girl, you have to go to a counselor. Like, this is not normal. This is bad. You can get away. You can get out. You can get out. You can get free." And I believed them. I believed there was gonna be people that were gonna help me. Somebody was gonna
wow.
help me, and CPS tried, but then the thing is, you have to tell your counselor all this stuff is going on,
Mhm.
and then you have to go back home. Go right
Valid.
back home, and then you have to wait on the social worker to come knock on your door.
Mm.
And then by that, my dad sends him away for a search warrant. So you're stuck in the home and he knows what you did. It is so psychologically terrifying that the man who has abused you has that kind of power to send people that are going to help you away.
It's a sociopath. We need to do at some point, we really need to discuss and tell people what a sociopath is because I'm
Yeah.
fully convinced that your family, well, your parents and my parents are sociopath, and I actually looked it up the other day. That
I would say
shit made me almost jump up.
sociopath. I think both of our parents were very sadistic. They didn't just
Mm,
there's trauma, there's lots of different kinds of trauma. Mine and hers was our parents not only inflicted pain on us, but they enjoyed it.
yeah. Well,
They enjoyed it because of the
okay, so then
process
would
they
that
would
take out the
use.
sociopath then? Because a sociopath doesn't feel.
I don't
That's a
know, that'd
good
be a good
that's a
thing
good yeah,
to research.
we'll do that soon. That's
I know
actually a
my
really
dad
good one.
was, like, very
My parents
sadistic.
didn't feel bad for anything they did, like, none of it. They are
I don't
still
know if they
fully
did they
convinced
act
to
like
this
it at least?
day, fully convinced they've done nothing. So I'm not sure. It's freaking scary. Like,
I think
imagine we did that to someone, I would probably
mm-mm.
kill myself. Like, it's I
I mean,
couldn't live with myself. How do you do that to someone
I don't know.
and not have any empathy for doing that to a child?
I don't even know.
That's why it's wild to me. Like, I didn't realize I was getting abused. I was told that this was normal. This is how families behave.
Mhm.
I never spoke up because we did a lot of church hopping, lots of church hopping. But the problem is when we got close to certain people, families started picking up really fast.
Yep.
We go to another church. We go to another church. So that was my issue. I think I when I officially said something, I was 18, 18, and I finally it was at work one day. I had my first job ever. Someone noticed my mom was stupid enough to hit me in the wrong spot. Someone saw it. They're like, "Hey, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." But the problem is it was week after week. They could tell something was just not
Did you realize that you were
mm-mm.
being abused by them?
No,
Or you just like,
I was convinced because my mom would,
mm,
she coached me right. She would take me to work. You tell them this, you don't tell them that, that it was like a coach every single time. I don't know if your parents did that
mm,
too, but it was like you
mhm.
do not say what goes on in our home. What stays in the home,
Stays in
stays
the
in the home.
home. What
So
happens in the home stays in the
yes,
home.
I said that
That
wrong.
was a saying that was used
So yes,
24/7.
I think that's also what made me so scared too, is like,
Mhm.
okay, I have to be quiet. If I say something, we're all in
Yes.
trouble. And then of course I have the you're gonna worship Satan in my head, like engraved in there.
You're defying God.
Yeah. So and I think at some point there was a neighbor that pulled me aside, and I hope that this neighbor actually falls on this podcast at some point because kudos to her for doing the right thing. I was a daycare teacher, and she pulls me aside. She goes, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I don't know. I wanna leave." She's like, "You know you're 18, you could have left probably a long time ago." But I think what made me leave was
You didn't
backstory.
even realize you had that freedom. Isn't that crazy?
No. Well, yeah.
Like,
I was
in a
terrified
normal
though.
sense, first off, you don't have this in a normal person's family, you don't have to escape your parents, and you don't have to run
That's
away when
true.
you're a full-grown adult.
Yeah, if you're 18, if you wanna move out, that's fine. If you
That's
don't,
fine.
you don't have to.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
it
what a
might anger
normal
your parents
family.
for a while, but they're not gonna be like
Yeah,
ours, where you get excommunicated. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I didn't know that at the time. I thought I was like, "I'm
you're
staying
like,
here for the rest of my
"Oh,
life. There's no
yeah."
way at 25 I'm gonna get my own place." I was fully convinced. Mind you, they had control of my bank account. They had control of every little step that so if I moved around, tried anything, they had control of my phone. It would
Mm,
not I didn't have a way around
surprised you
it.
had a phone.
Well, it was a side flip phone. It sat on the counter. They would read every single text. I had to be very careful.
Oh, my parents read every single text too.
Every phone like, I wasn't allowed to be on the phone. I had to be within
We
hearing.
had a 10-minute talking rule. So, like, you could text the person for 10 minutes. After that, you had to make a phone call so they could hear, like, everything you said. And,
Mm,
the phone was shared with me and all of my other 5 siblings. It was all shared, even as a 19-year-old. And
mm, yeah.
no privacy
Yeah,
whatsoever.
so that was the other thing is I had to be very careful. I couldn't say
Mhm.
certain things, but the neighbor finally what I guess what caused it was my parents were about to put me on an airplane by myself to Texas. Later then found out they were trying to actually put me in a girl, what's that crazy home called?
Like a boarding school? I think you've
I've briefly shared this a little bit. What is that called? They basically told me I was so defiant I needed to go to a not a boarding school,
is
it's
that
where crazy people go,
like a psych ward?
like a live-in psych ward almost.
What the
Independent living.
Oh, what, like a grandma?
I don't know. I can't say the name
That's wild.
because obviously I have to
Mhm.
be careful with the name, but yeah. So I later found that out, and so I was like, "I don't wanna go to Texas by myself." She's like, "You don't have to, you can leave." And then I think that was a breaking point, hearing that I was about to go on an airplane by myself. Never left the world before, so I was freaking out. Why would you send your 18-year-old who's never left the world before on an airplane by herself to Texas?
That's weird.
But then again, thank God I said no and
Mm.
left because I would've
Is that the point of, like, your realization where you were
there was
like,
something
"Oh."
off. But then I sat down that night, I said, "I'm leaving." They're like, "No. If you leave, this is gonna happen and this you're gonna" they went through the whole, like, "Bad things happen to you and this" they went through it. So then I was like, "Oh, shit, I can't leave. Wait, no, I can leave." And then I made a phone call. I'm like, "I don't know what to do." Um,
Did you make a phone call?
my best friend, she had to play good cop, bad cop. So
Did
she
your
had to
parents
pretend
not see you take a phone call?
they did. They thought that I was just calling my best friend, somehow convinced my mom to have a conversation with me. My mom was stupid enough to fall for the fact that my best friend was just playing her side the whole time. They were
Mm.
pretending to buddy up, thinking, "Let me talk to Lena, calm her down. I'll make sure she stays," and, like, trying to she didn't know that they were teaming up later to, like, a
My
so I
gosh,
went
that's
to the
crazy.
closet, made a call. I said, "Can you come get me from work tomorrow? Please, I wanna leave. I can't do that. It looks like kidnapping." Like, "Shit, that's not gonna work." But, like, I'm allowed to leave. She's like, "Yeah, but it will look like kidnapping and we'll get in trouble." I'm like, "Okay, probably shouldn't do that." So then she convinced my mom, "Let me get Lena to calm down, have her come over for a few hours." That's when I officially left. And then a
Mm.
few hours passes. It's 5 o'clock. I made a call. I'm not coming home. That was it. Rest is
I didn't
history.
even make a call. So that's kind of the point where you, like, realize I had to be very stealth about mine because my dad had warned my siblings beforehand, like, if she says anything about leaving, I need to know immediately. If she says anything about that, you guys are gonna get in trouble.
Did your
So
parents convince your siblings that you were a horrible person?
yes,
Yeah,
absolute, like, he probably still does.
yeah.
He used to pray for my repentance, like,
Yeah,
at the table. He's like,
mhm.
"Lord, I just pray for Maddie." I mean, well, I was Cake at the time. I just pray for Cake's selfishness, that she would come to realize the utter horridness of her
Yeah, my
sin
parents told me I
and
was
that she would turn.
defining I was what's that stupid
Defying
saying?
authority?
I was rebelling against my parents, and Lena's deciding to go, she's gonna go leave us, and made them yeah, it was the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was,
I think I realized my abuse was going on. Sorry, dirty drink. I realized my abuse was going on earlier, but then I went through this like maybe I just need Jesus phase where it was like, I became this
Mm.
full blown legalist. Okay, I must be completely wrong. Maybe I'm gaslighting myself. And maybe this abuse is actually normal and I'm just a really bad kid. So
Mhm.
I went through this like humongous 14 years old, got baptized, became a full blown legalist. Like everything has to be perfect, try not to mess up. And I still was getting abused because everything I did wrong, if I didn't clean a bookshelf wrong, if I didn't do the dishes right, if I even showed a lick of not wanting to do something, it was classified as rebellion. And I remember like getting to the point my senior year, I'm like, okay, I can take a breath. I'm almost done. I can get a job. I knew I could survive outside the home. That's one
Mm.
thing that never changed. I knew I could find greener pastures. I just needed to know how.
Oh, see, I didn't have that.
Well, after I had graduated, by the time so I graduated in May of
Okay.
2022, December of 2022, was I was working a job and I had to come back home and I had to babysit. I wasn't allowed to do anything outside the home. And I got to a point where I was like, I thought this was going to be different. I thought I was going to graduate and be like every other person and go to college and have
Yeah,
the
yeah,
opportunity. And I'm not getting any freedom.
I
I
remember
can't
that.
even go outside without asking my parents. I'm 18 years
Yes.
old.
It's so stupid.
I was 19 at the time.
Yeah,
So,
2022?
yeah, so that I tried to run away the first time, and I left them a note and this long thing, and then, um, after I left the note, I want it's a whole I think I've told the story before. I came back, I wound up getting my car taken away.
Okay.
They wanted
Yep.
$2,000 for my car. That took all my savings. I worked a job that paid me, like, 10.25 an hour. It was, like, butt cheap, part-time too. So, I managed up $2,000 in, like, a couple months because my Christmas bonus. It was crazy. They stole $2,000 from me because they gifted that
Mhm.
car to me. And they made me pay for it because I left, because I told people about abuse in the home, and then they stopped trusting me with everything. "Oh, we just
Mhm.
don't trust you. You broke our trust."
Yeah, yeah.
They would say stuff like that.
Very manipulative stuff.
It broke me too. It actually took me 2 weeks the first time to run away. It took me 2 weeks of thinking about it, of not sleeping at
Okay.
night, of dreading. I had so much survivor's guilt. If I leave, my siblings have to stay in this. I need to suffer with them, but I really need to
Mm.
leave. I know I can get out. I know I can do it on my own, but my siblings, they're still there. So that was a whole cycle. That's why I came back. Second time around, was almost a year later, September of 2023. I ran away again. This time I had a place to go. And you know, I still remember, my dad was at work, my mom was working from home, and I remember coming downstairs with a basket full of clothes. They thought I was doing laundry. I'm putting it in my car. Nobody's noticing. And then they thought I was going to like a class at college. And I remember thinking to myself, um, like, I kept the whole siblings, like, out of my head the whole time. Like, I was able to shut off that emotion from my siblings until I was just about to walk out the door. I had my keys in my hand. One of my sisters pulls her earbud out of her ear because she's doing homeschool or whatever. She pulls it out of her ear and she looks at me and she goes, "Kate, shouldn't you be leaving by now?" And I still remember that, like, so clear as day. Like, it was the last words I was ever going to speak to my siblings before I knew I was gonna get cut off from the family.
Mm.
And I just remember her looking at me and being like, "Isn't it time for you to go?" And those words still haunt me to this day of like, and then I had to respond like, "Yeah, I love you guys so much." And I think I left a note under one of their pillows or something that says, "I love you," or something. But I don't exactly remember. It's just so clouded. And then, they didn't suspect I was gone until 2 hours later. And honestly, after all that went down, and, still dealing with the ramifications of all that. The point being about realization, I don't think I fully came to realize that I could not name it as abuse, probably not until a year after I got out. Could I solidly say on 2 feet that was abuse? And still part of me when I say it kind of like makes me like, ugh, like
Mhm.
icks you out because you've been convinced so much that it wasn't.
Dang. Did they try to come after you?
Kind of. My dad is a very stubborn, I guess you would say. And he's very uptight. Like abusers always get scared when they get called out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Extremely scared. You're the worst enemy. I got told that I was the a threat to the family and that I
Mm,
was not he didn't want anyone to contact him unless it was like a church authority figure that was a male, so like an elder or a pastor, it had to be male, and that he would not talk he doesn't want to speak with me ever again unless it's through one of them. And I'm sorry. And like he told me all these things, like he attacked my character, he attacked who I am. Anytime somebody has to attack you to feel better about themselves, you know they're in the wrong. Like
mm,
it was a pile of
that's a good point.
gaslighting and manipulation, and it was just this nasty text message that I was sent. And I think from what I heard, I never saw the letters, but he apparently sent letters to the church I attended for a little bit, and then to like the college that I went to, and to a basketball coach I had. He apparently sent letters to people. I never read them. I know nothing about them. My dad tried to get me like, I guess, church disciplined, even though he was like majorly in the wrong. And
Yikes.
every last person that I talked to said, "We would never do that." It's just it's crazy to me. I don't know how many people it will take to for him to finally realize that, you know, spanking a 19-year-old is wrong. And especially with the way he did it, and I'll have to share that story at some point, was domestic violence.
Yeah,
Was and it was uncalled for because I had done nothing wrong. Had I done something wrong, even that wouldn't be justified.
yeah. You don't spank a 19-year-old kid.
No, 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 no. No, that's almost sexual violence at that point, whether
Mhm.
he intended it or not. That would have been classified. So, it's just the realization thing, I think well, it sounds like for you it took a little longer, just because you weren't around a bunch of people.
Very isolated.
Did it take you a while also to, like, "Oh my gosh, like, this is" like, even after you got out, did it take a while for you to process? And what did that feel like? Like, did you have
Well, I think I within the next couple of weeks, I started spilling out what was going on, and I
Mm,
think some people are like, "Yeah, we kinda noticed that over the years that we've known you," 'cause my best friend's family knew us for years and years and years. I think
mm,
people were trying to make calls or trying to make moves, but nobody could do it because they were just my parents were perfect at every move they made to
mm,
make sure they wouldn't look bad.
mm,
But then I think what got things started spiraling once the sexual abuse came out, and it
mm.
was hell, brimstone, and fire. Like,
Yeah.
he immediately pulled the kids. He immediately
Mhm.
full on arrest. I mean, it was so fast how everything just like to the point where I'm like, that happened so quickly. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I didn't even process my own
Yeah.
story, if that makes sense. Because then what happened from there, there was court cases for 2 years, and then we had to do my mom got domestic violence charges because she was more of the physical abuser. Threw my head against a brick,
Oof.
fireplace, and
Mm-mm.
there's other incidents, but yeah, and then again, at the age that I was, yeah, 18, you don't do that stuff to because it's considered domestic violence at that
I don't
point.
understand how can you deny that? I can understand somebody denying a personal flaw about themselves, like they're, I don't know, like if they deny the fact that they are arrogant or something.
Yeah,
Like I can see that. But if you physically hurt someone over and over and over again,
and to keep
how do you
denying. Yeah.
how? I don't get it.
There
That has always
I
puzzled
think
me.
that's why I think it goes into that category of sociopathic. It's so psychological at that point, and my therapist and I have kinda gone a little bit into those details, and I'll ask him a little bit more, like, how does what are the psychological effects of someone who just keeps denying abuse?
Yeah.
Like, what are they thinking? They think
Mhm.
they're in the wrong. Well,
Mm.
she's the one doing the wrong, so I'm the one just doing the job.
Mm.
How one does that, but I could never. No, I immediately punish myself if I even remotely do something against my kids. I'm like, "Oh,
Yep.
nope, I did
Yep.
something wrong." I immediately go to, "I'm my mom." "No, Lena, you made a mistake," and that's very normal compared to beating the shit out of
So let's talk about that because that kind of leads us into our like next segment. We were going to talk about like the realization. We talked about how when we both started to realize when it was abuse. Let's talk more the feelings behind that. What did it feel like for you? Was it this
feelings.
aha moment? Was it sadness? Was it grief that your parents had done that to you? And then what were some of the physical stuff that went on with your body? Because one thing we want to do is educate you guys on like not just from our point of view, because we have, you know, our experiences that we went
Yeah.
through and our bodies react a certain way. There's a variety of ways a body can react to trauma.
Yes,
But
yeah.
definitely to educate you guys on like It's not just this, you have trauma and, oh, it's sad for a period of time, and then you just like, "Oh, now it's gone." Like, it's
Yeah.
not that way at all. So you wanna
No.
explain, like,
I
what your
wish.
feelings were initially, and then some of the physical ramifications that have happened afterward.
Okay, so let me go back to like 2018. Okay, that one's gonna be a little bit tougher for me because that's when I started. Wait, some of that feeling. Oh, I think I numbed it. Pretty sure
Mm,
because that was the year that I started drinking pretty badly. I was
mm,
smoking, was like numbing it. Didn't want anything to, I didn't want to address what was going on.
yeah.
That's when I started isolating myself from people who wanted to genuinely just help me.
Mhm.
Looking back, I'm like, I was stubborn in that area. I could have saved myself
Yeah.
so much pain, but these people weren't like, I think they were, I took it as they just want to control me, but I was like, no, I don't want any help. I don't want to do it. Because that was the year when I started like lying to people, not being honest, I was just very closed off from everybody. Because I didn't think I think, I can't remember the first initial. I think my first initial like reaction was finally freedom. That's
Mm,
probably it.
yeah.
I think that's what it was. But then the things that followed after was just insane, insane. Like, because in 2018 into 2019, I got arrested and put in jail for a while. So yeah, that's basically what happened right after. And then we did 2 years of um back to back, going to court every other
Did you ever
month.
feel, 'cause I know you never really had, like, a relationship with your mother or your father. I just don't think you could call it a relationship. There was no love there. It's hard to have
I
a
thought
relationship with love.
I thought that though what my dad was doing was love.
Right.
So I was equating sexual trauma and abuse. I thought that was normal. I literally
Mhm.
thought dads did that.
Mhm.
I'm like, looking back, I'm like, am I stupid to think that?
But you're not,
But you
and
didn't
you're
think
not.
that at the
You're
time
not stupid.
because that was the only time I think I felt affection.
Mhm.
And so then you have to beg the question, oh, so you liked it? No. I think that's the other thing people get. So why didn't you say anything then? Well, because I, one,
Okay, time out. First off, that is the most emotionally unintelligent question you could ever ask somebody
and
who's
that's
been through
pretty,
that kind of trauma.
yeah. And some people ask that, and I don't think they need to ask that.
Can I take a break for a second? Even if you did enjoy it, it never gave your dad a right to put his hands on you the
Right.
way he did. It does not matter if she enjoyed it. If you are doing that kind of things to a minor, to someone who is your daughter, it's
Eh,
still
it's
wrong.
sickening.
It's still vile. It's still sickening and disgusting. And that kind of question is that makes me want to get physically violent.
Sometimes people don't understand trauma like that, so they just blurt out
They
questions.
blurt out
And now,
horrible
look,
questions.
now who I am, now I'm like, okay, let's address that question. I know you didn't mean it that way, but let's address that.
Yes.
And then you have to explain to them, hey, this is, and they immediately like, oh crap, probably shouldn't have asked that.
Well,
Sometimes
that
I find myself asking stupid questions too,
they also don't
but
understand what it's like to be completely isolated from everything.
yeah,
You don't know anything else. You were like, the things that people know in their adulthood is shaped by their childhood.
yeah,
If you were isolated the whole time on an island and you had something done to you over and over and over and over again and you never saw anything else, you didn't know it was like anything else, you're gonna think that's normal.
yeah. I mean,
That's
I get jokes all the time. I lived under a rock. I mean, yeah, I kind of did.
yeah.
I mean, we yeah, we were in the house all the time. I was lucky enough to get out to do, some homeschool stuff. But the first again, that equating that whole thing with love, like that was the only time I got
So
attention and
a question then, because I know for myself, um, not initially, my initial response to it when I realized was sadness over my siblings and some
oh
anger
yeah.
over my parents. But later on, like I'm almost 3 years out,
Mhm.
my sadness more is that I never got to have a dad. I never got to have a mom. I wished that all these relationships that I see every day that people are mad at their mom, mad at their dad about stupid stuff, like
Political
they didn't
stuff.
take the garbage
Yeah.
out or,
Yeah.
he looked at me funky and I'm like, "But he loves you and he
Mhm.
he he loved you your whole childhood." You ever is that any part of your grief where you just kinda
I think I kind of numb myself when I see people around their parents and
mm,
stuff because I'm just like, yeah, being the hyper independent woman I am, I'm fine. I don't know. I would
yeah.
rather just have no parent figures in my life.
But that hyper independence is shaped by
Yes, agreed. Yes. Sometimes I'm like,
So I guess
"Damn,
it
I
is
really
kinda
do
hard to
wish I had a
see.
mom." More now because I have 2 kids. I think what saddens me is I've had to have conversations with my oldest, and as soon as she's old enough, I'm gonna have to go into more deep conversation like, not ready for that or looking forward to that part."
I
But
think y
it does I think that grieves me a little bit like, "Man, I wish I had a mom sometimes."
do you feel like the grief is more like you wish for a healthy mother, a healthy father,
Mhm.
but you don't want one? Like, you wanted one for your younger self
I was gonna
that was
say
not your parents that you had. You wanted the idea of
yeah.
that motherly and fatherly affection and attention, but now as your older self, you're like, "But I don't want that now."
Yes. So when I first got out, I was trying to have like somewhat I wanted to be everybody's daughter. Well, like my best friend's family, I was trying so hard. I wanted to belong to them.
Mm.
So I did go through a little I think that's actually kind of what led me down those really nasty paths was trying to belong, fit somewhere. Now, no, honestly, I actually don't. I'm besides my husband, my kids, and the people I built, relationship with, I actually have no desire for that anymore. Like, I'm completely okay
Do you ever
never
mourn,
having
like, your younger self, though?
I don't think I have. I don't know if I've come to that place yet.
Mm.
Sometimes every once in a while, I'll be like, just not all the time. I don't think back and be like, I wish I had that. I don't think of, I think more about what life would have been like if it was a whole different scenario.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, "Man."
Like,
It
everything would have
almost
been
seems like
different.
everybody has it easy almost, like, and I know that's not right to say because everybody has
Yeah.
their own experiences, whether
And
they
baggage.
healthy
Yeah.
or unhealthy childhood, but at the same time, I feel like for me, like, I'm kinda at the point where I mourn the fact that I never got to do those things with my mother.
So, like, going shopping or something with
Like,
her?
I'll
Oh,
see
see,
I'll
I
see
don't think
mother
about that stuff.
I have a close, younger friend, she's in her teens, and I watch her and her mother all the time, and she says it so flippantly, like, we went out shopping and got our nails done and did this, that, or the other, and genuinely enjoys being around her mother, and there's no like, I mean, there's obviously your normal mother-daughter tension, but
Yeah. Do you
it's
have
part of
envy kind of a little
there's
bit?
definitely some jealousy.
Yeah.
Definitely some jealousy of like, man, I longed for that as a little girl. I wanted that so bad. I wanted to be held. I wanted to be paid special attention to be
Mhm.
asked how I felt about something or what made me happy or just someone to take interest in me.
Mhm.
And then with my dad, he was only interested if it had to pertain to basketball or my
Ew.
quote unquote
Mhm.
spiritual life. Like there was never any there was no personal touch to either one of my parents. They just distanced themselves completely. And I hate to say this, I don't know, I'm sure you feel the same way. I have no affection toward either of them. Like there
No,
is
me
no
neither.
sense of like love or missing them. I don't
Oh, I
mm,
have more I think we briefly yes, we talked about that a little bit in one of our episodes, just a little tiny bit. I have more because I'm 8 years out. I have more of a sadness because there's a little part of me deep down that thinks that there's gonna be some internal turmoil there because of the things they did and the fact that they haven't repented.
mm,
That's where my sadness like, the fact that the part of me is like, maybe they would repent, maybe, oh, maybe, but knowing who Jesus is and knowing where God stands with certain things,
uh,
because there's scriptures even in the Bible, it says, "Do not do the" I'm thinking of one, "Do not cause a child to fall." Oh,
it's better that a millstone be hung around his neck than he
something
calls one
like
of the
that.
little.
That verse should terrify someone. So my sadness is stemming like, "Oh my gosh, what's gonna happen after they
Mm,
pass?"
yeah, yeah.
'Cause it's really sad to see them. They're so broken, they won't even get help.
Mm-mm. No, they're
And I
just
know that
stuck.
my parents were abused because it goes back to their
Which is funny because my stepmom, like,
that's really
no
sad.
abuse. Like, I think she had trauma that she just didn't deal with,
Yeah.
pertaining to, like, she had some like, her first husband died, and then she got
Mhm.
married at 5 years. I don't know the timeline. I think it was 5 years because I think my brother was, like, 8, and he died when my brother was 3. And I don't know if she just never processed that
Dealt
with
with that.
somebody or dealt with it or
That makes
what,
sense.
but my dad, I don't even know where his stems from because. the sadistic, horrible things that he did to us.
It's
Um,
gotta come from somewhere. I just don't
I
know how
think it's
some
bullying in childhood. And then also I don't know how his dad was with him. Sure, it was pretty rough,
it had to be
but
bad.
my guess is like bullying must have been pretty rough. I mean, it's still not an excuse. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, you hear all the time, just because someone goes for something doesn't give you the handout to go have certain actions. I hear it. Yes, I agree, but it's genuinely sad that they didn't deal with it. And so what they do, I'm not going to deal with it. I'm going to just put it all on my kids. I think that's why, just kind of a side note, why I'm, so adamant about putting a pause on children and just focusing on the two that I have because I know it's controversial. Don't have kids if there's some parts of you that are generally not ready.
yep,
Because not saying that you're going to abuse them, but in a way, look at the past, learn from the past.
prepare yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
if you're not physically in a place to have more kids, that's
Mentally,
okay.
I think mental's a big thing. I think
Yes.
to be vulnerable, like, I feel like I feel like me and my fiancé could go through a little bit of therapy to help with, like
Mm,
I mean, I'm already in counseling,
yeah,
whatever, so
but
I'm definitely
together,
working on it, but together, like,
yeah,
working through, okay, what are the things that we liked from our childhood that, like, were good parenting moments? What were the bad ones? And how are we gonna do something different together?
I did not have any of that. I also became a mom very young and very quickly.
Mhm.
I didn't have a choice. It was like, here you go, here's your kid.
Right, but I think you mentally prepared yourself a little bit during the 9 months that Jenny was with
So
you.
backstory on that, mine was actually right after jail. I got
Mm,
pregnant. So mine was more of the mental, like, I have to get my shit together. Mine was not more of like, well, how am I going to parent differently? The only thing I guess, okay, that's not fully true. The only thing I guess I did prepare is I'm not going to abuse.
mm,
I think that's the only thing that went through my head. Now I have two. I'm like, well, okay, I
mm,
can think more about what I don't see. I don't even have any good things from childhood
yeah.
that I wanna pass on, if that makes sense. I have to
The only
learn
thing that
parenting
I can
completely, research myself, me and my husband together, and even like, he doesn't even do the same thing, like,
his parents did, yeah.
that's
I guess the
crazy.
only thing I can think of, and of course our parents had the wrong Jesus, but
Right.
would be just
Jesus, yeah.
speaking Jesus a lot in my kids,
I guess that's one thing that came out of our abuse.
yeah,
People that's actually I always think about that scenario, if someone wouldn't have gotten me out of Russia.
I would have never and I if I hadn't been taken from my mom's home at 3, I don't think I would have ever heard about Jesus.
Yeah, it's true because at 16 in Russia, they throw you out and you become a prostitute. So, you know what? There's kind of some redemption there.
And my mom lived in poverty and was on
Mm,
drugs. So we both kinda got out of the furnace and into the fire kind of deal.
but they did bring God
It did.
in the most strangest way, though. I think people
They gave
need to
us a
hear that too.
bad version of God,
Yes, but
but it forced us to go and look at it for
yes,
ourselves.
and find God for, yeah,
Yes.
because I can say confidently I love Jesus so much. And part of it is from the extreme spiritual religious
Mhm.
growing up. I mean, part of me is like, okay, I'm kind of glad I went to church every Sunday, every Wednesday. I mean, we did all the
All the
church things.
things.
There
Yeah.
was some good out of that. I actually enjoyed being in Awana. Does anybody know what Awana is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know what I want. I think they
I
still do
know.
it.
Are they still doing it? Is
Yeah.
it a thing?
I never did it personally, but I remember hearing kids going through it
We
and
did
stuff.
it. We would learn our little verses. Okay, I guess I can say there's some good things. Okay. For example, that's some of the things I do want to pass on to my kids is not forcing them to go to every church function, but getting them involved with some of that stuff.
Mhm.
Because it is sweet watching your little 6-year-old memorize scripture and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I do think about sometimes. It's weird.
This is why I want so bad to have a daughter. Like, I know, like, my fiancé wants a boy so bad.
That's such
Obviously,
a bad thing.
you
Such a
gotta carry on the
Yeah,
male
my
like,
husband's the
he's,
same
like, the
way.
last male on his
Yes.
side that can carry it on. I guess for me, it's just, like, I get to be the mother to my daughter that I never got. I get to be present, I get to be
Yes.
available, and I get to have that bond and do the girly things and be around her and be that mom that I never got as a girl, as a little girl
Okay,
who
that would
needed
yeah.
that.
I do think that it's gonna be difficult when she's a teenager because there's gonna be some tendencies that are my personality, and I'm gonna temptation's gonna be like, "Don't let her do it, don't let her do it," but also the flip side, because Anthony and I both agreed, We have to let her live, though. We
Mm,
gotta let her live, even though she may make a choice. I'm like, yeah, let her go.
yeah,
So that's the part that does scare me about having an older, like a 13. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm not ready for that part.
I know.
But I get to, I mean, we kind of hit. Me and my oldest are a little bit alike, where we bang heads just a little bit,
Mhm. Yeah, she's definitely
but at the same time, good.
yeah.
She needs to be fiery and stand up for herself, because if I start to overstep her and start to hurt her, I need her to say something so that it puts me in my place. Does that
Mm,
make sense?
and that's a good
Not
perspective to have.
disrespecting me, because there's
No.
a level that she does needs to, like the other day, like if I did something that genuinely hurt her, I need to take responsibility for that.
Mhm,
Even though in the moment she may be being a little jerk about it, but
mhm,
she's saying, "Hey, something hurt me genuinely, mom." Okay, I need to hold myself. I'm sorry I
mhm,
did that, you know?
mhm.
So
Yeah,
there's a lot of that.
yeah, and that's understandable. I mean, obviously, like, all teenagers are different, and
Right. Yeah, I can't compare every single one of them the same.
it's apples to oranges kinda, 'cause, like, some people will say, "Oh my gosh." One thing I cannot stand whatsoever, and I know we're on a rabbit trail, and we're gonna do a part 2, just FYI.
Mhm.
One thing I cannot stand is when people say like, I have some not to talk down anybody in my workplace, but I have a few people in my workplace that will say, "You want a daughter?" Like, they're so hard. Like, girls are just ugh.
Yeah,
And it
I can't do that
saddens
either.
me. It really saddens me that people say that about their own daughters because I would have as somebody who went through I mean, you would think they would understand their daughters a little better. Like the changes in her body, the changes in her mood. It's a
I
lot
was
to
gonna
go
say the
through.
rebellion is normal. That's
It
very
is.
actually
I think they
appropriately
don't even try
normal.
to connect with their daughter, they try to defend
Ew,
themselves
yeah.
against them. I think teenage girls would do a lot better if they had a mom that sat down with them and said, "Hey, honey, I'm here. What do you need
Mhm,
from me?
yeah,
What do you need from me? Mommy is here.
yeah,
I'm here. I'm present. I'm going to listen to you. I wanna know what you're feeling, and
yeah.
I'm here to help walk you through that because I've been that age before." I don't think we have enough moms doing that. We have moms that combat their kids, and we gotta break their will. We gotta break their spirit. We gotta, authority, authority, authority. In reality, they need someone to listen to them. I wanted to be listened to as a little girl,
Uh,
as a teenager. Like, I wanted to know somebody understood what I was going through. And I just feel like all these moms that say that, they just aren't they're here's the thing I don't understand. If your approach to parenting isn't working, why keep doing it?
yeah, try different. Oh,
Why are you beating a dead horse?
yeah. We
Like,
have to change our methods all the time.
all the time,
Yeah.
because the kid grows, the kid changes, and not it's not a one size fits all when it comes to
Yeah.
parenting. If something does not work, if something clearly is not fitting with your child and their
Mhm.
unique personality, their unique needs, change it. I would rather have a relationship with my child than for them to grow up and resent me
Yeah.
100% of the
100%,
time.
yeah.
I would want that. And I don't think we have enough parents that understand that or even try in that way. They get it's just too much, you know? They just need to obey. They just need to do what I say. And that's not a connected parent. It's just not a connected parent.
Yeah. And
And I know
parenting's
I'm speaking
hard.
as someone who's doesn't have kids. Take it with a grain of salt if you want to. But
It's hard. No, I agree. We've had to change a lot. I mean, we
yeah.
have to change the way we homeschool all the time. Also, that's the thing. I think there's the beauty of that. It's okay to change your methods too.
Mhm,
One season you're gonna be doing this, another season you're gonna do something else.
mhm.
Another season it's gonna change, and that's
Flexibility.
okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. We can't be so hell bent on one way and it has to be that way.
Mhm. And
No,
rigid.
especially because how I'm gonna parent my oldest is gonna be different how I parent the youngest. It's not let me emphasize the one size fits all for everybody. And just again, I see my reflection in sometimes in my kid. And I'm like, ooh, that's a humbling moment. I think parenting a daughter specifically is teaching me what I want to make sure I don't want her to feel the way I felt at that age, if that makes
Mm,
sense. So like
mhm.
not shutting her down.
Mm,
She might be a little feisty about it. And I know people think, well, that's disrespect. And she needs to be doing get your effing business out of there. You don't know what it was like for me growing up. My daughter can speak freely however she wants. If she's saying, "Hey, this hurts," she's gonna say it. I'm not gonna and not also that not downplaying certain I find myself doing that too. I'm like, "Oh, Lena, don't downplay if it's big for her, address that and
mhm,
acknowledge that." Sometimes I find myself doing that. So and I'm like, "Oh, remember how you felt in that situation?
mhm.
You wouldn't wanna feel that in that situation, don't downplay a child's situation
Yeah.
because it's big for them.
Yeah.
It's big for them. It might be small to you, but for them, that shapes the rest of their life. And I'm like, I got to be more mindful of that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of humbling.
Yeah. Well, I know we've went on a lot of rabbit trails and we were talking mostly about
Just realizing.
realizing trauma, and we've kind of talked about like the effects of that and our
Mhm.
different feelings dealing with it. It all ties together. Again, this is just us sitting normally having a conversation. We are going to make a part two because we are out of time for today. We're going to make a part two in the next episode. We're going to be talking about the physical ramifications of realizing trauma, not only just our attitudes, but the way our body reacted to
Oh
it and the
yeah.
things that we didn't expect to happen and the things that actually happen to our bodies. But that concludes this episode. Again, you guys can find us on Instagram, Spotify, Facebook, and
YouTube.
YouTube.
Yes.
And it's at the Graceful Rebuild or at the Graceful
Underscore.
underscore rebuild on Instagram. Please go like, comment, subscribe, all the things. We haven't heard from you guys. We've heard a little bit from a few people, but we'd like to hear more. We want to hear some topics. We want some questions,
Yeah.
some engagement. Share it with people you know that have been through
Mhm.
some of this. But
Even
yeah,
if you don't relate to any of this,
yeah,
jump in. We want to hear your
yeah.
guys' thoughts. Send it to a friend
Hmm.
that maybe has had maybe a whole different experience. And if you guys want to hear more on, well, how come this person responded this way or this, bring it. Let's bring it to the table. We're
Yeah,
here for it.
we're here for all of it.
We'll
But
answer to the best of our ability.
yep. But until next time, guys, we'll see you next week.
Yes. Have a great night.
Ugh, that'd be so bad. I was like, man, if we go into this next topic, we're gonna be here for another hour. That's such a big topic.
Is
Okay, the Mexican stuff should be ready. Okay.
oh, 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 did you sit too long?
Yeah, and I did
Yeah.
legs yesterday, so I'm like, oh, did you hear it pop? Oh, my pants are unbuttoned.